So the first question we're going to look at is the skill checks given in periodic trends. And the next few slides will be skill checks 2, 3, and 4 on the periodic trends notes that I've given you. And this one is skill check number 2, and it says that the first ionization energy of several elements when consecutive atomic numbers are shown below. So you see this trend coming up, you know, like tuck, tuck, tuck. And what your mind should start thinking about is that there is a general trend that we see where there is something like this. For the 8 elements in a period, 1, 2, then it drops for 3, then it drops for 3 more. So 2, 3, 3. So I see some of that here. Before I ever read the question, this is the trend of first ionization energies across period 2 or across period 3. And what happens is when it ends, the next fellow is all the way at the bottom. So this is groups 1 and 2, then groups 13, 14, 15, then group 16, 17, 18, and then all the way to group 1, where all of this trend starts all over again. And when I see, you should start identifying this trend. When you see this trend here, I see it right there. I'm going to highlight the same region here. You got that trend happening exactly right there. Up, down, up, down, up. Now that means that for now, the moment you see that and you see a big drop, you know that the big drop comes before this also. So there must be, and that's how it is. Now, you should know and why. But first, knowledge is still as important as knowing why. First, learn then why that the biggest drop happens from group 8 of the previous period or noble gases to group 1. So this must be that. So this element must be a group 18 element, then a group 1, then a group 2, then a group 13, 14, 15, then group 16, then group 17. That means there must have been group 18 somewhere that they haven't made. So that's what would go on in my head when I look at this information. Nothing more than just this information. All right? That's the first thing I'll try to figure out. And then let's look at the question. So if I have all this data, what do I see? I see which of the elements A to I. Because if B is 18, A must be group 17 or the earlier group 7, halogen. So A is a halogen, then noble gas, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I is again group 17, which is a halogen. That's what we know. Okay. So it says here from which of the elements group A to I belongs to group 1. Now, once I've labeled all this, it becomes so easy to answer this. So which one is that? It is C. And why? The simple explanation is because it would have the lowest ionization energy for any 8 consecutive elements. The lowest ionization energy for any element in any period is always group 1. So the idea is it has the lowest first ionization energy. That's why, by the way, they are the most reactive metals, because they need the least amount of energy to react. And in O levels, you study that, don't you? That group 1 elements have the the most reactive. They're the most reactive metals. Why are they the most reactive metals? Because they have the lowest ionization energy. And why do they have the lowest ionization energy? Because compared to everybody else, they have the least effective nuclear charge in any period. Because across a period, nuclear charge increases. Shielding remains the same, so effective nuclear charge increases. So the group 1 guys are the least held. That's what we had covered in the previous lessons. Anyways, then B, so that's the reason. Which of the following could have the configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2? When you look at the configuration, the outermost configuration is 3s2. That tells me this is from group 2. So which element here is from group 2? Element number, which one? D. Yep. Then explain the rise in first ionization energy between elements E and G. So, well, E and G or C to I, anywhere across this line, there is a rise because it is across a period. So, why is there a rise across a period? Well, across a period, you will say nuclear charge. You shouldn't say nuclear charge increases. You should not say proton number increases, because they need you to know that if you know that proton numbers results in the idea of nuclear charge. So you would say nuclear charge increases, shielding effect remains the same. Two things, not just nuclear charge but shielding effect. All right, yeah. Therefore effective nuclear charge increases, absolutely. And that's why across a period it becomes harder to lose the outermost electron. Therefore the ionization energy increases. Then it says here, estimate the first ionization energy of J. Well, J, as in the letter J, nothing else here. Across a period, ionization energy increases. So this is group 17. So group 18 would be somewhere here. So I would just put it along this trend right there. You see that bridle point right there is just above the mid mark of 1200 to 1600. So that must be 1400. So it must be near 1500. So since I have to estimate, I'll say 1500 kilojoules per mole. Yeah. Let's solve the next question. So let's look at skill check number 3. Now this is a what we call in Urdu a ghisa peta sawal, because this is the data that they need you to know. So when I do this with you, then I make sure that we solve everything. We know everything. So here, this is the first ionization energy from elements sodium to argon. Period 3 increasing except for a couple of dips. This is repetition of what we have studied. So explain why the general trend from sodium to argon is upwards, but why the value for sulfur is less than that of phosphorus. So there are two parts of the question. First part is explain why there's a general trend upwards, because you would say here, and I'll have to want to zoom out. So for A, I would say what? That the nuclear charge across the period increases, the shielding effect. I misspelled shielding, but whoever cares, I don't care. Same. Therefore, Z effective nuclear charge increases. Therefore, more energy required to lose the outermost electron. That's the answer for part A. Then for part B. So part A, second part. I'm so sorry, not part B. So why is this sulfur less than that of phosphorus? This is phosphorus, this is sulfur. Because in phosphorus is 3p3 configuration, the electrons are individually filled. For sulfur, the fourth electron that needs to be removed is paired. And the paired electron experiences repulsion, making it easier to be lost. So the paired electron in sulfur due to 3p4 experiences repulsion from electron in the same orbital. That's the basic answer. And then because of that, you could say that requires less energy. So there it's a experiences repulsion, therefore requires less energy. All right, that's the most basic reason. You can give the second one also, but this has to be there first. So this is part A's second part. Why am I sorry, yeah, this is part A's second part. Then comes part B. So now part B is asking me what? Mark on the graph the value for potassium. So value for potassium will be after this will go down, but it will go lower than even that of sodium. So I'd mark it somewhere here. Lower than that of sodium, because down a group, ionization energies decrease. That's the key. So potassium's first IE, you could say first IE of potassium is going to be less than the first IE of sodium, because down a group, so remember down a group ionization energies decreases. All right, And third, explain why, that's part B. Explain why the value of second ionization energy is smaller than the first one. Now this is going back to the first idea of successive ionization energies. So I don't need the space for B, but I definitely need the space for C. So in C, remember the first is sodium becoming sodium 1 plus. And second is sodium 1 plus becoming sodium 2 plus. Okay. And it's very simple. If you had remembered the class earlier with me, that in the first case 11 protons are pulling in 11 electrons. In the second case 11 protons are pulling in 10 electrons. That's the case. And it's 281 configuration, that's 28. So you would say the second electron being removed, the main reason is that in sodium's first ionization energy, first of all, there are two reasons. And they are not saying just why is it larger, it's very much larger. So if it was for magnesium, why is the second ionization energy of magnesium larger than the first? You would say for magnesium that after removing the first electron, there are fewer electrons, their repulsion decreases, so the attraction for each electron increases. Therefore, it's harder to remove every consecutive electron. On the other hand, for sodium, it's very much larger because the second electron, so the second electron being removed in sodium is from a shell closer to the nucleus. Remember, that was the whole idea of about energy shells, and therefore closer to the nucleus requires much more energy. That was the evidence for shells. So in sodium's successive ionization energies, the second energy is much more than the first one because the second electron being removed in sodium is from a shell closer to the nucleus. Therefore, greater attraction from the nucleus. That's simple as that. All right. And that was because the second electron from sodium is from a lower shell. The third is from the same shell as the second electron. So then it will just become less electrons, more repulsion, less repulsion, more attraction. All right. But the second electron is from because remember, the first one is 281 becoming 28. And the second one is 28 becoming 27. So the electron being removed from a second shell, not the third shell. Closer, more energy required. Much more. Hence the word very much larger than the first. All right. This is the fourth question. Skill check number 4. For each of the following pairs, state which element has the higher first ionization energy and then explain your answer. So now we're going to look here at different trends, because what they're talking about here is these two the difference is across a period. But this is a drop from going from S2 outermost electron to 3p1. So in aluminum is 3s2 3p1. Magnesium and calcium is basically going down a group. And neon and sodium is groups element number 10, element 11, but this is period 2 and this is period 3. That makes a difference. Why? Because the shells, you see, in neon the configuration is 2, 8 and sodium is 2, 8, 1. So let's talk about the first one, magnesium. So in magnesium, the electron, so which has it higher? So you can say magnesium's is higher, as in aluminum the outermost electron occupies a 3p orbital, which is further away than the 3s and experiences additional shielding. So this was the drop from going from group 2 to group 3 or group 2 to group 13. On the other hand, magnesium and calcium down a group, what you'd say is, whose is greater? You'd say magnesium's is higher, larger. Why? Because down a group, first IE, you'd say decreases, and then you go on to explain why it decreases. Even though the nuclear charge increases, increases. Shielding also increases. You can say effective nuclear charge remains same, but size of atoms increases. Therefore, less energy required to lose outer electron is further away. So in the last one, why is sodium less than neons? Because even though sodium has greater nuclear charge, and that should mean that it has greater ionization energy, but also has a large increase in shielding and atomic size because of a new shell. Therefore, a neon's IE is much greater. All right.